For the video yet. Oh, okay, that's okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Eitaikyo service. Let's begin with Gassho. Namandam, 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 namandam. Okay, thank you, everyone. This is our Eitaikyo service, literally the perpetual chanting of the sutras. It's also a memorial service. Now, one of the things that we have an Eitaikyo fund that is set up to support our Naijin and protect our Naijin so that we can always have the temple here, so that we can always chant the sutras here, so that we can always memorialize the members of the Buddhist Church of Oakland who've passed away. And so we'd like to share a video now of, since you can't be here in person, right? And we want you to be able to see the scrolls. So we have a short video to show. This is the newest scroll there. That's not me writing. That's Reverend Michael Endo writing. Okay, thank you. So we have these scrolls on display right now here in the Naijin. Now we would like to have sutra chanting, and we will chant Ju Se Ge, and we will have the characters written on the screen. Namandam, 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 namandam. Gagon chosegan hishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gaomun yoko fuidai seshu fusai shobingu seifu joshogak gashi jobutsudo myosho chojipo kukyomi shomon seifu joshogak ryokujin shonen Choe shubongyo shigumu jodo isho tenin shi jiniki endai ko fushomu saido shoujo sankumyo kosai shunyakunam Kaiichi egen meshi konmo an heisoku sho akudo tsudatsu zen shumon koso jo manzok iyo no jippo nichigatsu shujuki Tenko onpugen ishu kai hozo koseku dokuho jo dai shuchu seppo shishiku kuyo isai butsu gusoku shutoku hon Gane shitsujoman Tokui sangayo Nyobutsu mugechi Tsudatsumi fusho Gangaku erik Toshi saisho son Shiganya koka Daisen o kando Koku shoten to chin myo ken namandabu 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 Namandabu, Namandabu, Namandabu. Ganni shikudoku Byodo sei sai dohoten bodai shin ojo Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, now let's recite the three treasures. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to check my script. I'd like to deliver the Dharma message. One thing I was thinking about, let me share my screen here for a second. When you think of the church, is this what you think of? You see that picture with the cars in front, right? Like that might be what you think of, or, ooh, is that what you think of? Do you see that one? That's the back, right? When I do the thumbnails for the YouTube videos, right? I often use this back view, and it's partly because it's a simpler, it's not as busy an image, right, as the front of the church. The front has all this detail, this beautiful detail, right? And the back has these kind of nice, kind of blank canvas, right, of the building and the sky and everything. So that's kind of one reason why I often use this back view. But another reason I use the back view is I think many people, this is what you see when you come to church. Right, you come in, especially if you drive, and you park in the back. Even if you ride a bicycle, you park your bicycle in the back, right? And come in, and this is the view of the church you see. And so, I was just kind of thinking about that. How how do you think of the church? What do you think of, right? When you think of church, what do you think about? Do you think of that front view of the church? Do you think of the back view of the church? But you know what? Even when you come in, I bet you don't even really see the back of the church, right? And best case scenario, it's because you're talking to your family. You see people in the parking lot and you're talking to friends and you're saying hello. Maybe you're thinking about, what kind of donut am I hope they have donuts, and what will I have, or bagel, or we don't have donuts that much, huh? More usually bagel. Remember those days? Or who made what, right? What are we going to get to have for snack? Worst case scenario is because you're late and you're running in late and rushing, which is fine too. You made it, right? But when you're listening to the kancho, right, and you're coming in, if you can hear, that's why when we did the video I'm walking in as Michael's ringing the kancho in that video, right, to kind of bring back that feeling of getting to church. And I walked slowly, but usually if you can hear this kancho while you're coming in, then you're almost late. So you're probably not walking as slowly as I did in the video. But that kind of feeling of coming to church, right? And so you're here, and it's sound, right? It's vision. It's what you see. It smells, whether it's coffee and bagels walking into the hall, or the incense walking into the hondo, right? It's all these different things, right, that are picture of the church. We say picture, but that implies something visual. That implies looking at something, right? But I think church is more than that, right? Coming to Buddhist Church of Oakland, coming to the temple, right? It has these various aspects. what you see, but also what you hear, what you smell, maybe what you feel. We can't shake hands with people, but if before, if you ever shook hands or hugged someone, right, you're feeling them, and what you're thinking too. Right, these are the various senses that we have, and Buddhism talks a lot about our senses. And so, if we kind of stop and think, what do I think of when I think of church? What do I picture? Right, you might have one thing pop into mind, but it's actually a whole bunch of other things. Eitaikyo, I think, is part of it is people wanting to support the church, right? People wanting to support Buddhist Church of Oakland, but they're also remembering a loved one too. Because when you see the scrolls, those are names that are written on there. It's the Namu Amida Butsu is the big writing in the middle, but then there's all these names written on there. So when people donate to Eitaikyo, they want to protect the Naijin, they want to protect the church, they want to help ensure that the temple keeps going, right? And also remembering a loved one, or remembering loved ones. And I was thinking, if you donate to the Eitaikyo Fund, you're remembering someone. I bet that person you remembered also wanted to support the church. And they probably did all kinds of different stuff depending on the person to help support the church, whether it's just coming and buying stuff at Bazaar, everything from there to coming every Sunday, to being a greeter, to being on a host team and helping to, collate Bushin. This is all stuff we can't do so much right now, but I think it's still fresh in your mind, right? Or it could even be serving on the board, right? There's all these different things, donating to whether it's to the monthly service, or just donating just because you feel like it, or donating because we have a project or we need the help, right? So there's all these different things that people do to support the church. But then I was thinking, it's not just this, right? That this, when someone supports the church, they're not just supporting this or even this, right? I like this image just because it's so simple, right? It's just the building. It's an important building. It's a wonderful building. But I think that when people want to support the church, when people want to support the temple, it's not just the building as kind of a physical object, right? They want to support the church because of what it offers to others. A lot of times that is because they want their children, their grandchildren, their families to be able to hear the Dharma, right? That they want them to be able to encounter the Dharma, and they want them to be able to encounter the teachings, right? To be able to hear the teachings, to be able to have Buddhism in their lives. I think a lot of people want it even more than that, not just for their families, but for anyone to be able to hear it, right? For anyone to be able to encounter the Dharma, right? Whether it's kind of the basic teachings of mindfulness or kindness, right? All the way up to be able to hear the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, right? Namo Amida Butsu is really special because we get to hear the details. We get to learn about the 3 poisons, right? Or the Eightfold Path, or the 6 paramitas, right? We get to hear about these different teachings of the Buddha, but just Namo Amida Butsu itself, that's all you need ultimately, right? Namo Amida Butsu is Amida Buddha wanting to give you a hug, right? Like the image, right? Wanting to hug you, to embrace you, right? Embrace you with wisdom and compassion, not physically, actually, right? It's wisdom and compassion, right? It's knowing, Buddha knowing how hard life is, Buddha knowing how difficult it can be, whether it's just growing up, right? Or interpersonal difficulties that you have, or financial difficulties, or losing a loved one, right? All these things that we go through that make life difficult sometimes, right? Buddha knows that. And that's what Buddha's teachings are about, is to help us navigate through life, right? To help us deal with these difficulties. I think sometimes we get to points where maybe we don't feel like we have that many difficulties. Yeah, everything's fine, right? Things are good. And then sometimes there's other times when things come crashing down, right? And you realize, wow, what's going on? And I think we're all going through that right now in different degrees, right? With the pandemic, with the various difficulties that have been we've seen come this year, right? That's what Buddhism's about, right? Buddhism is about trying to help us, Buddha helping us get through these different things. Right? Whether, again, it's different practices that we can do, whether it's different values that we can hold, right? Or Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu is not just me saying it, it's Buddha's voice calling me. It's the voice of all these people on these scrolls calling me. It's the voice of all the names I read out for the different Shotsuki monthly memorial services calling out to me, right? Saying, trying to get me to wake up to this embrace of wisdom and compassion. But this is a really important building. This is important Hondo, really, really special, right? Really, really wonderful to be able to have this beautiful Hondo. When I have my camera view, I try not to block, right? And so you can see behind me, I guess on my right is Shinran Shoni, right? The founder of our school. In the middle, when we saw the Naijin view, is Amida Buddha, right? That these figures, right? We can see them as people, but ultimately so much more. Same with all the names on the list, right? They're people. We can remember them as people. We remember what they were like, who they were, right? But at the same time, they've become so much more, right? Born in the Pure Land, become part of Buddhahood, become Buddha, calling out to us, teaching us, right? Embracing us with this wisdom and compassion. So, if we think about it in terms of AAA life, just to kind of tie things up, maybe the awareness, right? I was thinking awareness of the past is one thing, right? Awareness of these people, awareness of these names, awareness of the history of the church. Also awareness of this present moment, right? Awareness of, despite the difficulties, how precious life is. And awareness of the future. Where do we want to go? Right? Where do we want to go from here? What do we want to see happen? Whether it's in my own life or in the people around me or just in society in general. And so that awareness, I think, kind of extends. It includes the past. It includes the future, but it's grounded here, right in this present moment. And of course, that's fed by appreciation, right? Sometimes it's appreciation for the efforts of those in the past, right? And I think that that's kind of a Jodo Shinshu hallmark to remember, keep these loved ones in our hearts and in our minds, right? And realize that they're still, even though physically no longer here, they're still part of our lives, right? And so, whoa, the past is still part of me. Namanda, it's appreciation and gratitude. Right? But that's now, right? That's affecting me now. And it's affecting the future, because then maybe you realize, yeah, I also want this to be available to people in the future, right? I also want to make sure that the temple is there so that the sutras can be chanted, and then so we can have memorial services, right? And so that we can have Sunday service so that people can hear the Dharma. And so that past, present, and future awareness of it and appreciation affecting how I live my life. And so that authenticity too, you don't have to be perfect, right? That you don't have to feel like, well, I'm not there yet and I can't be like that other person, or I can't be like sensei, or I can't be like the sensei I knew before, or I can't be like my grandparents or something. Of course not. You don't have to be like someone else. You got to be you. You got to be who you really are. But that's not something unchanging, right? That's something that's totally affected by this awareness and appreciation. So that, of course, I do things because of who I am, and I have my own habits, and I have my own way of being, right? But that's always being impacted by other things, right? So it can be really strong. It can be really hard to change, right? And yet always being embraced by this wisdom and compassion. And maybe the more I become aware of it, the more the appreciation grows. So that my authenticity allows me to be even more who I really am, even more who I'm supposed to be, me the best way that I can be. So I want to really thank you, everyone, for joining us for our Eitaikyo service, our service for the eternal perpetual chanting of the sutras, this memorial for these special people, and this special service to really acknowledge and support how special and precious this temple is. So thank you very much. Why don't we conclude the Dharma message with Gasho. Realizing how many people have wanted to support the church, not for their own sakes, but for the sake of us, let us, with the AAA life of awareness, appreciation, and authenticity, listen to the Dharma and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, I think I'm going to turn it over to Hondo. Actually, should we have words of appreciation first from our president, Mr. Ron Nomura?
Hi, thank you, Sensei. What a special time that we get to have this Zoom meeting and get to see everybody. Let's see. Am I still muted? No, I think I'm not.
You're good. We can hear you.
I just let's see here. Just wanted to say thank you for everybody for showing up today. I want to thank Reverend Bridge for conducting today's service and putting together all the shots that or the videos that he's made to bring us as if we're at church, and for his continuing YouTube service every week. It really helps fill that void on Sundays that we could still get down to church. I want to thank Reverend Endo for his adding the names to the Eitaikyo register, or the scroll that you saw earlier. Solid, special writing that he does, steady hand. I didn't see no whiteout, so he's an artist in writing on that scroll. I want to thank all the donors who registered names of loved ones to the scroll. It's something to see. I wish I could read Japanese and read all the names on the scroll. A lot of people I don't know, but a lot of people I do. It's just nice to have that scroll to have the names for history for people to take a look at. I'd like to thank also Michael for arranging the flowers in the onaijin. Although we only got to see just a few shots of it, the time that it takes him to put that together, it's beautiful work. Thank you, Michael. I want to thank our Zoom players, the tech players that helped put on this service, who've been doing this all along, from our virtual obon that we had, to be able to have this at our hands, that we can meet is very special. A shout out to Norm Yoshida, Hondo Lobley, Carlo Manoas, Jun Hamamoto, and John Takagaki. They are the behind the scenes players that help put this service together. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank Dennis Makishima, a bonsai master, who volunteered his time and his students to come to church. You might have saw Reverend Endo's article in the Bushin, but they pruned all the pine trees out in the front. And if you do need to take a day to get out of the house and drive around, stop by church and take a look at the pines. There are a number of different pines in there, and the hours they spent pruning it is a lot of work, and I was so thankful for being there that I got to speak with Dennis, and he kind of opened up his knowledge and kind of talked about how his students were approaching on how to cut these pines, and I really learned a lot. But thank you so much for Dennis and his ladies, and they were all ladies that came out to actually prune the trees. Anne Owen, Diana Chamberlain, and Laura Miranda were wonderful. I had to beg them to take water to drink because they just did nonstop work on it. They did a beautiful job. And I want to thank the office staff, Mary Hiramoto and Doris Okano, for continuing keeping the church running. Mary is doing well. She's at home, taking care of the paying the bills and all that. And Doris has been coming in once a week to take care of what she can to get checks mailed out and to help with the bushing collating. And Doris has been doing so much. She takes in all the emails and distributes out to all of us to keep us on top of things and passing on messages. So if you do need to contact church, Doris is still available. She'll answer the phone if she can when she's there. But any messages left, it goes right to her phone, and she gets a text message or email message that a phone call came in, and she gets right back to the person, or she finds one of us if it's directed to Sensei or to myself or anybody. So the church is closed for in-house coming in, but we're still carrying on the business of at hand. So don't be afraid to call in if you have questions on anything. Let's see. I also want to, I know everybody's got the Bushin, and I really like to shout out to Joyce Yokomizo and Pam Kato for getting the Bushin out, and for Norm Rashida to help upload it onto the website, that we can all see it in this latest picture. Like I mentioned, the trimming of the pines, and for the Halloween oops. Kerokai service, all also clear. It's wonderful to see it. So thank you for them to keep us informed. Want to also mention that we have our holiday greetings that were in the Bushin. If you want to do a shout out for it, it's all holiday greetings are due by the 23rd. And so you could just send that in to the office, and we get that into the Bushin. The Junior YBA is having their Seas Candy fundraiser and toy drive. Their Toys for Tots is taking in toys, and so even if you're not ordering C's Candy, because they'll be there at church on the weekend of the December 12th and 13th from 10 to 12 will be
Yeah, we'll be sending out an email with that information. So.
Oh, okay. Let me get off from that, but just look at the Bushin and see all that what's still going on at church. But thank you all for coming to today's service, and I'll turn it back over to Sensei.
Oh, why don't I turn it over to Hondo?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Sensei, for your Dharma message. And thank you, Ron, for your message, too. Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen, but I was getting a little choked up listening to Ron just then. It's really just beautiful, humbling, and inspiring to hear so many names of people that come together to make this happen. And just thinking about the present and the past as well, and how it really is an honor to be a part of this community and to help in our own ways to continue to spread the teachings of the Nembutsu. So thank you. It really gives me a lot to think about and to be grateful for. So let's see. So yeah, everyone stick around. After the virtual instance offering, we will have sort of an informal sort of Sangha chat. So it'd be nice to catch up with everyone. So I hope you stick around after. And also, if you would like to give Donna, the donation link has been posted in the chat box. So please visit the link below. Cool. Thank you.
Hang on a second, everyone. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So can you spotlight me? Ooh. Namandam, namandam, namandam. And don't forget, you can go to BuddhistChurchOfOakland.org to make donation. Here I am. Okay, this will conclude our service. Thank you very much for joining us for our Eitaikyo Perpetual Chanting of the Sutras special service. Why don't we close the session with Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, thank you.